A younger player. I'm very happy to say that Griffin's a better player than him. But he's still a great player. Marvin Bagley the third.
Marvin Bagley III, my apologies.
Can't forget Bagley. He had a fantastic year last year. I couldn't believe how great of a year he had. He really went to show how he had a high draft pick, and he was very well deserving of his draft pick. He might not be the star right now. He could be that top five player in a year or two, though.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, a guy, he did only play in 13 games last year, which definitely does hurt the stock a
Hurts.
bit. But
Yeah.
we also valued Yusuf Nurkic very high when he only played in 8 games. And I mean, I believe it was Bagley's second year where his first year was very similar to the stats he put up in only those 13 games. And we're going to assume he's obviously going to improve. A guy who is his age and could already get 7.5 rebounds per game when he hasn't even grown into his body fully. Probably a guy who's going to average 9 or 10 for most of his career. He's definitely going to improve
Yep.
offensively. Already had 14.5 last year. Yeah, sure, he might not be the best at spacing the floor, but like I've said about a few other power forwards, his 80% rate. When you could get a guy who gets the net that's going to grab a ball, go back up, and can hit it 80% of the time, can't ask much more for that, especially if you're a team that wants to go to playoffs or there is going to be so many free throw opportunities. You don't want someone lagging in that area on your team, especially not a key guy, because that's something that teams are going to target, and they're not going to be able to target that in Sacramento, other than if they keep this on Whiteside, obviously. But they're not going to be able to target guys like Marvin Bagley, obviously, because
Nope.
he does have that ability. We'll probably see him develop further in the mid range, probably even going to continue to develop his 3 point ability as well. And like I said, too, he's only going to get stronger, only going to get smarter. Could only say good things for Marvin Bagley, except for the fact that he was drafted over a couple guys who, in
Oh, I know. I know.
the spot
I
they took him.
know.
But at the same time, you take who's best for your team, I guess. I mean, to take Trae Young for the Sacramento Kings and you have De'Aaron Fox,
It wasn't a fit.
exactly. So
And I personally think Bagley is going to be a center in this league. I think that Hassan Whiteside is a placeholder for another year or two until Bagley fits into his body. You say he only played 13 games last year. He's going into this year as a 21-year-old.
yep,
Like, this boy was born in 1999. Like, that's ridiculous.
yep,
He gets 7.5 rebounds per game. And he hasn't been in that body that he's needs to get those numbers.
exactly. And
He's going to perform very well.
and he's going to have a lot of opportunity to play as well, which is only going to speak to the volume we're going to see. He's a guy on the list who could even have maybe the biggest jump from this year to next year, just based on what he could do. Hopefully Marvin Bagley and the Sacramento Kings, they could get out of the long-standing hump they've had and actually put something together, because we do obviously have a lot of hope for him at the number 14 spot.
Yeah, I know. I hit it right on the nail there. He can have a big jump. Sacramento, if he has a big year, he can be that leader of Sacramento. Him and Darren Fox could be leading the future of Sacramento. They could be a potential playoff team with those two players. So I really do hope he has a great year.
And even think
Uh,
too, like this is a guy who's outplayed guys like Jabari Parker, who was, if I'm
yep.
not mistaken, the second overall pick very recently. Um, so clearly he's established himself there. Another guy's outplayed Nemanja Bjelica, or who again, a very very good shooter. Shot 4.5 threes last year, hit at a 41% rate, and still, if they had the ideal rate, they would rather Marvin Bagley in there because they know how good of a player Marvin Bagley is.
Yeah, he put up 14 and 7 throughout his career so far. I know it's only 2 years and only about 70 games, but he's only averaged 25 points per 25 minutes per game either way. If you do on his per 36 number, he's already doing over 10 boards per game. His minutes per game are only going to go up, and I don't think his efficiency is going to go down with it.
He
So
only
I
had
think he's
25 minutes per game last year.
yeah,
I know
he's
he
only
only played
averaged
13.
25. See, he started 6 games last year, played in 13, averaged 25.7,
And I
point 0.4 more than the year before, where he put up 15 points per game and even more boards.
and who knows if it would have continued, but I mean, he was already seventh in offensive rebound average wise. So like, if he stayed at that rate for 82 games and he's playing 25 minutes per game and he's seventh in offensive rebounding, he's going to be a force down low.
Which is what Sacramento needs.
Miles
They need him to turn into that player.
Miles Turner, learn offensive rebound. If you haven't seen my rant, please check it out.
Go Miles Turner, go to Marvin Bagley School of Rebounding. Learn, yeah. So, but we were talking right before